Welcome to Skyline Innovations. Today, me, Filthy5150fpv, and a special guest are going to go over a few things and the history of Skyline Innovations and where it started, our last year, and give you a little insight on what Skyline is. Anyways, Skyline FPV.
Hey guys, I'm Skyline FPV. Been designing all the frames for Skyline, and so let's start off with our very first quad, the Raptor. Lucky you didn't break it, but this is a tough frame. So
You can't beat that thing with a stick and have it break. So
this is our very first quad, designed to have a lower center of gravity with easy replaceable camera mount and assembly. So this thing's pretty durable. I mean, taking crashes and so forth. I designed this so we could pretty much feel replaceable on all the parts. Easy to remove the arms without taking all your electronics apart. So it's a pretty solid quad. I mean, you had a lot of experience with this.
This was one of my first frames. I mean, for the longest time, I think I was the only one that actually broke an arm on one of these guys, and that was just pure luck. I just happened to smash it right into the only rock that was in the field. But anyways, I mean, it's so versatile. You could race it if you wanted to race it. You can freestyle if you want to freestyle. You can do anything with this quad that you wanted to do. If you wanted to take cinematic shots, the setup on the quad was so stable, it actually allowed for really smooth cinematic shots. Probably my favorite part about this quad was the head, because I used to break a lot of cameras with crashing. So I just bought a whole nother setup for the head, and then I had it set up with a new camera. So if I snapped one or broke a lens or something, instead of trying to take it apart, I would just pull it off, put a new one on, and I'm back in the air flying. So I mean, this quad is just tried and true.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sturdy, it's easy to work on, and it's just a great overall quad for a beginner or intermediate. Excuse me.
Oh, you brought the 6-inch here too, huh? The 6-inch Raptor.
I did.
So, wow, this is the new TPU mount with the new GoPro mount.
Yep.
So, this one's, we have this on what?
It's
Thingiverse.
on Thingiverse, yeah.
Yeah, you can download
that
and print your own.
Yep.
So, and this
the camera tilt on this one is 45 because I tend to fly a bit faster and a little bit more aggressive. But for anybody else, I think we're working on one that's a little bit lower. That for people that fly a little bit more proximity or slower flying, I think most of those guys like flying 30 degrees or so.
Yeah. All right, awesome. So.
And on the 6-inch arm, I mean, that thing is a beast and a half.
Yeah. So if you guys want to print your own and you have a Raptor, go to Thingiverse, get that.
So enough with the originals. I mean, stepping up from the original, we went into an X-frame. I mean, how do you feel about the X-frame? I mean, this is the Rampage right here.
Yeah, this is the Rampage, and this was designed, I mean, we wanted a more aerodynamic quad, versus this with the flat arms, and just overall, it's just a wider, cross-sectional area. I mean, poor aerodynamics, so, and then we came up with this, and this was designed specifically for racing, and you can do freestyle with this. I mean, I don't see any problem with it.
It actually flipped really, really well. Like, it was literally cutting through the air because there was no resistance on the actual arm itself.
Yeah, when we designed and test this on our first flight, I mean, it was just such a different feeling flying this thing. I mean, because of the vertical arms, it cut through the air, and I mean, you just have a minimal cross-sectional area that you just slice through that air, and it just felt lighter than it is.
Oh yeah.
But designing this vertical arm, it's very difficult. I mean, keeping the weight down without so much brackets just to hold the arms. I mean, it requires a little bit of, investigating and tried and true.
And I mean, the time frame from here to here, in terms of development, wasn't that far behind.
Yeah.
I mean, how it was maybe a year in total?
Yeah.
But one behind another.
Yeah, we spent a little bit more time on that one because we were new to the quad, and we want to do it right the first time. So, and then from there, we, came up with this because we wanted to get into racing.
I really like this frame. We did the speed run test, and that test was so much fun. I wish I had a ton more real estate and I didn't stick the quad in the tree. That would have been really nice.
Yeah.
But the one pretty clean run that we had, it was like 115 miles an hour on 4S, which was just mind blowing because, I mean, this is what what did we out at, like 350 grams,
something like
just
that.
as is like that 350 gram. I mean, that's a pretty heavy quad in terms of nowadays. I mean,
But this frame, I mean, this is the beginning of, you know, the evolution into more Skyline frame. Yeah. So this quad, I mean, it drove the next evolution of, you know, so this is the Rampage, and, you know, the next one.
Talk about evolution. I mean, the Razor Aero. I mean, they're just the steps, the leaps, and the bounds between the two.
Yeah,
I mean, there's huge differences. I mean, you want to go over some of those differences?
Well, here, I mean, this is like a lighter. I mean, this is a weight loss Rampage, you know.
Yeah,
but
no doubt.
We're going back to, you know, simplifying the construction of the frame. So we're going back to the sandwich flat arm plates. But here we're stacking the arms and keeping them, you know, the arms very thin but also durable. One of the things that I was always concerned with flat arms was flexing, and that flexing, you lose some thrust because you're bending the arms. So
thus you change your vector of the way the wind vortex is behind the quad. Right?
And between these two quads and you know, you just hover it or fly it. The vertical arms, the thin arms, so much quieter. When they fly, they're just hissing through the air.
Yeah.
And they're chopping more air. That's why you get the louder noise. So, and this is much lighter than, you know, the Rampage.
Correct.
So, and this was designed, I mean, we had our ESCs on the bottom.
So it's virtually the same design with the sandwich plate here on here. And I'll tell you, being able to access that ESC with just 4 screws on the bottom of that plate and just pulling it right off without having to worry makes it so much easier to having to work on that quad.
Yeah, and you know, and I kept 4 of the other screws on so that when you take it apart, you know, your arms don't just flop off. Yeah. So.
And you also kind of took the thickness of the vertical arm and kind of, you know, put it into the new dual arm.
Yeah. So these stack arms, I mean, they're just 4 millimeters wide, and you know, there's 2 of them, so it's a 4x8, and it's, I don't know.
I really like the construction. I mean, when that first released versus the Rampage or even the 210, you could see the shift in going towards more of a racer versus an all around or all purpose, if you say that. It's definitely a great flying quad. The balance, how nimble that quad is just phenomenal. I mean, it turns on a dime. I literally can probably do a J turn in half a foot with that quad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just that good.
Yeah.
And we shedded 50 grams?
I think more.
Was it more?
Yeah.
Well, depending on your setup. Yeah. So like this one
Frame
is
alone.
very minimal in terms of components, micro cam, single flight controller, micro everything else. And I think a total, we almost shed 80 grams on this, 90 grams on this one. And I think this one hovers around 70 grams.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you gained another 10 grams just using the new micro stuff on here. And then you have a really light quad, very, very, very competitive.
Yeah. And so, I mean, the Razor, I mean, single screw for field service. I mean, you break something, you need to fix something, it's just one screw, this whole thing pops off.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about the camera. Yeah. I totally forgot about the ease of access up there.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, I kept the VTX up here. I mean, that just, you know, cuts through the air.
For those of you who overheat VTXs like crazy, you guys are wondering why there's a zip tie right there? That's because the VTX sits right in between the two plates. The side plates up here just gets hit by air constantly while you're flying. So you're actually getting better video because it keeps your VTX cooler.
Yeah, from overheating and just... And then, well, this one is this bottom mount battery.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
But we didn't stop there.
What's always the top mount, bottom mount, right? Top mount, bottom mount. That's kind of the go back with the quads is do you like the weight on top or do you like it on the bottom? Well, I mean, you guys kind of pushed it, or you pushed it again, and well, let's make a top mount. That comes
the Razor
One. And the crazy thing was, when you first told me about this quad, I was super excited, because the one thing that I didn't like about bottom mount is the weight shift. You could always feel the weight shift. No matter what you did, you always had some feel in that weight shift.
But you know, you always land.
But you always land on the battery, and you always land up.
Yeah.
But there's just something about a top mount quad that I like personally. I like the feel of it feeling like it's on a rail. And that's kind of what the Razor One does. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you want to go over some of the points of the Razor One, and I mean, I couldn't explain it better than you.
Yeah. Well, for the Razor One, I mean, it's just pretty much the little brother of the Razor.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as this goes and this goes, I mean, this one has a wider body area here. This one, I narrowed this down. It's still a sandwich, and I know a lot of racers love just the bottom plate and top plate and just the simplicity. And I made this so if you want to run this bottom mount, you can, but you can also run it top mount with the battery on top.
So just in case you guys didn't get that, if you like the frame construction and you like the way the Razor feels, and you want to say just stay with the newer product that Skyline's releasing, the Razor One allows you for a bottom mount quad or a top mount. So you get the chance to try both of them out and really compare for yourself what you like more.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've flown all these quads, and definitely this one, I can really hug the ground. And, I mean, it does feel like it's on rails, and it just feels, I don't know, it just, especially in the turns, it
feels locked in a turn, because what I've noticed on this particular quad is when you're in a turn, and because of where the camera sits on this particular quad, it allows you to fly lower with less throttle input. So for some reason, I don't have to keep like throttling it just to keep it low. You're able to lock in at that height and just stay there. But when you're in a turn, because of how low the camera is, it almost wants you to lead with the nose. Mm-hmm. So you're almost
instead of throwing that weight out.
Instead of throwing the weight out and allowing the weight to kind of carry your turn, you can control the turn a lot more just by pitching in the nose more and throttling with that pitch, and just whip around anything, really. Yeah. I mean, it's really nice how that frame comes together.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is the Razor One. And again, I mean, this, I didn't stop there. So, and I know people started going, what is it? 6S, bigger battery. And, you know, I've always thought there was a diminished return. I completely understand why we're doing the 6S.
Oh yeah,
but you know me, I always like to push it a little bit and come up with something.
Of course, different. Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always something new in the works, right? I mean, the name is Skyline Innovations, right? Which entitles or leads into innovation, pushing it. You know, where can we take FPV next? Yeah. And let me tell you, there's a lot of exciting stuff out there. And there's a lot of exciting stuff here coming up.
Yeah. You know what? So this is all the Skyline frame right now. We got more. Slowly we'll show you guys more, and hopefully, you know, you guys enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know.
All right, guys. Thank you guys for joining us. Hopefully this piqued some of your guys' interest into checking out Skyline. We have a lot more coming, and a lot more to introduce. We're just at the beginning of 2018. If you guys like this video, there's definitely more to come, but hit that subscribe button. Comment down below on what you guys want to see. If you want to see more in depth about the Raptor 210 or the Rampage or the Razor or the Razor One, doesn't matter. Just let us know down below. Hit that bell button so you know when we put out a new video.
Or a new frame.
Or a new frame.
Yeah, I got some.
Or maybe just
up.
a teaser. Teaser?
Teaser?
Little?
What
Maybe.
should we do? Well, just subscribe and more
Subscribe,
videos will come.
comment, click the bells. Don't forget. Don't want to be the last one to find out what Skyline released. We'll see you guys on the next one.